Successful people have one thing in common. They know exactly what to say, how to say it, and how to make it count. 1. I'm not sure if it's for you, but one of the most common reasons I hear from people as to why they fail to introduce their idea, product or service to others is the fact that they are fearful of the rejection they might receive. It was for this reason that I figured the best place to start is with a set of magic words you can use to introduce something to just about anybody, at just about any point in time, that is completely rejection-free. The words in question are, I'm not sure if it's for you, but let's take a moment to understand how this simple structure works. Opening a statement with the words, I'm not sure if it's for you causes the listener's subconscious brain to hear, there's no pressure here. By suggesting that they may not be interested, you naturally increase their intrigue. They wonder what it is, and this spike in curiosity hooks them. What's more, it fires an internal driver that tells them a decision needs to be made, and the soft approach ensures this decision feels unpressured and internal. The real magic, though, is delivered through the final three-letter word of this sequence, a word that typically should be avoided in all conversations. The word but. Imagine receiving a comment from your employer that started with the words, you know that you're a really valuable member of the team. We love everything that you do here, but some things need to change. What's the only part you would remember? I am guessing the part that you would focus on most is everything that follows but. The word but negates everything that was said prior, so when you say to somebody, I'm not sure if it's for you, but what the little voice inside your listener's head hears is, you might want to look at this. When you say to somebody, I'm not sure if it's for you, but. The little voice inside your listener's head hears, you might want to look at this. Examples. Here are a few examples to help you in your daily routine. I'm not sure if it's for you, but would you happen to know someone who is interested in, insert the results of your product or service. I'm not sure if it's for you, but we have plans on Saturday, and you're welcome to join us. I'm not sure if it's for you, but this option is available for this month only, and I would hate for you to miss out. This rejection-free approach creates a simple outcome. One of two things happens. Your listener leans in and asks for more information because they are personally interested, or, in the very, very worst case scenario, they say they will give it some thought. 2. Open-minded. If you were to ask a room of 1,000 people whether they considered themselves open-minded, I am sure over 900 of them would raise their hands. Just about everybody in the land thinks of themselves as meeting this criterion, and it's pretty easy to understand why. When the alternative is being considered closed-minded, this perception of choice is almost guaranteed to steer others toward your idea. Knowing that people like to see themselves as open-minded, you can easily give yourself a fair advantage within your conversations. When introducing a brand new idea to a stranger, friend, prospect or team member, using the words, how open-minded are you? And following up that sentence with a scenario you want them to opt into allows you to naturally attract people toward the very thing that you are looking for their support with. This preface shifts you from having 50-50 odds of them agreeing with you to odds of 90-10 in your favor. Everybody wants to be open-minded. Examples. Here are a few examples of the words in practice. How open-minded would you be about trying this as an alternative? Would you be open-minded about giving this a chance? How open-minded are you about increasing your monthly income? Would you be open-minded about seeing if we could work together? Each of these options makes it very difficult for the other person to reject your idea, and it at least makes them feel obligated to explore the possibility. It seems like you are giving them a choice, when really you are heavily weighting the only option you are giving them. Put simply, how open-minded are you about at least trying it? When introducing a new idea, start with, how open-minded are you? This will naturally attract people toward the very thing that you'd like them to support. Everybody wants to be open-minded. 3. What do you know? How often do you find yourself in a conversation that quickly becomes a debate because you are speaking with someone who thinks they know best and perhaps even wishes to lecture you with their opinions? To influence others, you must be aware of how to control a conversation. One way of regaining control is to move the other person's position from one of certainty to one of doubt. Typically, people try to create this position of uncertainty through directly challenging the other person's opinion and perhaps even entering into an argument. I am sure you have had moments when you have been frustrated by someone's inability to understand what you are saying and flustered that you cannot overcome their preconceptions. This can happen regularly when you are trying to introduce new ideas or concepts, and the I know best mentality of many people can be difficult to overcome. The best way to overcome the I know best mentality of many people is to question the knowledge on which the other person's opinion was founded. I am certain that you want to stop people from arguing with you, so this situation could regularly result in you backing down or walking away. For an opinion to have merit, however, it really should be founded on some form of knowledge. The best way to overcome this kind of conflict is not to win the argument, instead, you must question the knowledge on which the other person's opinion was founded. The goal is to turn the situation into one in which the other person admits that their opinion was based on insufficient evidence, while retaining the ability for them to save face in the conversation. It is the power in the preface, "What do you know about?" that softly threatens their knowledge base and forces them to share the reference on which their argument is based. Often this results in them realizing their strong opinion was unfounded. Examples you could use in the real world are: what do you know about us, our business and the way we do things differently? What do you know about everything that has changed since, insert event? What do you know about how things really work here? What do you know about the benefits of, insert product sector? These questions allow the other person to realize their opinion is perhaps not correct, and they can quickly become far more receptive to change. The worst that can happen is that you learn the precise basis of their argument and can then position your point in contrast to it. Use words like this to challenge others with confidence and avoid arguments that always end with losers, since, regardless of who the loser is, you are unlikely to leave with your desired result. Either everybody wins or everybody loses. 4. How would you feel if? A word that gets thrown around like confetti in conferences is motivation, yet still, when I ask my audiences to share with me what the word means, all I see in response are blank faces. It is the meaning of this word that creates the true base for understanding all areas of negotiation, influence and persuasion, and you should explore it further if you would like to perform at your peak. Put simply, understanding this word would mean that you could probably get just about anybody to do just about anything. The word motivation derives from two very common words forced together. The first part of the word, the motive part, is derived from the Latin word motivus, the modern-day translation of which is motive. Another word for motive is reason. The Asian part of the word derives from action, and if somebody is going to take action, they are going to do something or move. This means that a very simple definition of motivation is a reason to move or a reason to do. Now ask yourself this. Would it be fair to say that if the reason were big enough, you could get just about anybody to do just about anything? If you want people to do things that typically they do not want to do, first you need to find an honest reason that is big enough. Understanding what reasons are big enough means you have to understand how people are motivated. People are motivated by one of two things: either avoiding a loss or acquiring a potential gain. They either want to go toward the light, the good thing that they are looking for, or they want to get away from the thing that could potentially hurt them. The real world tells us that people will work far harder to avoid a potential loss than they will to achieve a potential gain. Greater than that is the fact that the more contrast you can create between where somebody does not want to be and where they hope to be, the more likely you are to get people to move. Understanding the truth of motivation, coupled with this next point, gives you real context for this set of magic words. The second thing you must consider is whether people base their decisions on emotion or logic. The true answer to that question is, in fact, both. It is just that the decision is always made for emotive reasons first. The real world tells us that people will work far harder to avoid a potential loss than they will to achieve a potential gain. Something has to feel right before it ever makes sense. I am sure you have stepped away from a conversation confused about why the other person did not follow your advice and have wondered, I don't know why they don't do it. It just makes sense for them to do it. If you are trying to win the argument based on your advice making sense, you are calling out to the wrong set of reasons. People make decisions based on what feels right first. If you can make it feel right, the rest is easy. Understanding those two complex theories is the foundation for this set of magic words, and it is all brought together in a preface to a question. By introducing a future scenario with the words, how would you feel if? You allow the other person to time travel to that moment and imagine the emotions that would be triggered at that point. Choosing moments that trigger both positive and negative emotions will allow you to create a truth worth changing for. It will also prepare others to accept your ideas on how to help them achieve success or avoid loss. What you then create is a conditional future-facing scenario, something they can see for themselves. Examples might be something like, how would you feel if this decision led to your promotion? How would you feel if your competition passed you? How would you feel if you turned this around? How would you feel if you lost everything? What about this one? How would you feel if this time next year you were debt-free, living in your dream home and planning your next vacation? Creating these conditional future scenarios using the words, "How would you feel if?" gets people excited about their future and gives them a reason to move either toward the good news or away from the bad news. Remember, the greater the contrast, the more likely you are to get that someone to move.